my perfect nostalgia and my introduction to first-person, third-person shooters, as well as online gaming in general, Star Wars Battlefront 2015. Much to the dismay of anything that followed in my online gaming career, I used to not really play a whole lot of variety on my Xbox. That is until I saw this. Roll the clip.
Prevent the walkers from reaching the space. Your victory will be short-lived.
It was that scene of Darth Vader walking in, doing the saber throw, catching it, screen goes to black. I was gonna call it lightsaber unsheathing, but that doesn't sound right, and you guys just know what the sound means, right? Now my brain's telling me I saw a different trailer where he was out in the actual field, like on the Hoth map during like a walker assault match, and he walks in front of like a walker, and it's in the POV of a rebel soldier trying to run to an uplink, and he's like in one of those trenches, you know, and then it's like the sound goes dim, the lights go down, and then Darth Vader is right there. He does his little unsheathing thing, and then it like goes back to the rebel soldier, and he's like, "Oh God!" Then he gets sliced, and then that's the trailer, and then PlayStation rolls, and then it goes back to the rest of the show. But I spent like 15-20 minutes searching for that commercial, and I could not find it for the life of me. So this had to have been it. Now I wasn't really in the console or especially PC gaming sphere at this time because it was 2015. I guess I was not even in high school yet, so very underdeveloped. And I had no idea that there were even Star Wars games outside of the Lego franchise. So I saw this, and I had just gotten an Xbox last year for Christmas, and I needed this game. Star Wars must have been really fresh in my mind. I just really love the original trilogy, and I've seen Phantom Menace way more times than is probably necessary, just because it was one of the VHSs that my grandma had. But I was set on pre-ordering the deluxe edition, which comes with Han Solo's DL-44 blaster pistol, an ion torpedo, an ion grenade, and I think one other thing. Hold on. I don't know why I'm trying to remember it. It's all right here. DL-44, Ion Grenade, Ion Torpedo, Ion Shock emote, and then the Victory emote. It also comes with the Battle of Jakku DLC access, which was free to all users anyway, because that DLC came out and it was just a single map, not even a month after the full game released. Just in time for the first of the third trilogies to come out. And also this was like $70, so if the first map wasn't free, that kind of would be a problem. I mean, it is EA. There is a season pass, which we'll talk about all that stuff in a bit, so you stay tuned. Thinking about it, this game costed way more than I originally, I guess, thought, because that was $70, and then I think the season pass was 40 or 50, so I guess EA things are justified by just, I guess, saying that they're EA. This doesn't perfectly rotate us into the first thing that I want to thank Star Wars Battlefront 2015 for doing, but we're going to rotate anyway. Also, thank isn't probably the exact word that I want to use here, but this game was the reason I started using YouTube. Since I was like 14, I couldn't, just go buy a game. I didn't have money, I didn't have a job, so my parents were like, hey, you have to like make sure that this game is, something that you're going to want, because one, you're pre-ordering it, nobody knows about this game, right? Why don't you go see if somebody else does? So I go on to google.com, I type in Star Wars Battlefront, and then there's people from like on YouTube, and there's videos of the game that's not even out yet. I'm like, how the hell are these people playing this game? Again, this is 2015 era, so this is still pretty homegrown organic content from YouTubers. So you can just come home from a rough day, flip open the Chromebook and sit on your decades old wooden creaky chair with a Beatles yellow submarine cushion on it so that your butt doesn't go numb in 10 minutes. But Star Wars Battlefront was really the first thing that I went to YouTube for. Originally, I didn't really watch YouTube. I'd gotten emailed YouTube videos prior, and I'd watch them, and then my uninquisitive ass would just say, okay, that was great video, or weird video, or I don't know what that was, but I watched it, and then I would, close the app and then go about my day, playing Jetpack Joyride or whatever on my tablet. It wasn't until Star Wars Battlefront where I opened the YouTube app and was searching for specifically Star Wars HQ, the first channel that I actually subscribed to and kept coming back to. Any content updates or speculation about what's coming and what's planned for the game, I would go and I would learn from them. Plus, they'd do fun challenges in games, speculate more on just the broader scope of the Galactic Empire era, and just things that they found within Battlefront to kind of just loop into the general Star Wars lore. It was a truly special time, and I went on to watch them for the entire 2-3 years that I was playing this game. We're gonna jump a few years ahead here, because a few years after Battlefront had fully launched, I was in a media productions class in my high school, which we actually had 2 levels of media production, so I would take the first level and then I would go on to the next one, and from all of this I gained, a love and a very big interest in video editing. I wanted to experiment with more, and I was generally watching more YouTube at the time because we were, fully into high school. And iMovie was a great baby's first editing software because everything in the school for this class was Apple products. And then my father had a Mac as well at home, and we had just gone on a vacation, so we had some footage from there. So I did some editing and, doing some little movie magic, quote unquote. Not really, it's just iMovie, and I was, clipping some stuff up together, making it look nice, making it not, drone on for too long, keeping nice pacing, stuff like that. Just really basic pacing stuff, which, as you can see, I cut a lot of my stuff. I started this habit really, really early, so I try to keep, I try to keep everything as quick as possible. Even when I'm trying to talk, my lungs are like collapsing right now, so I'm trying really hard to keep up. But that's what the editing's for. But anyway, I didn't have an Apple product. I had a rinky-dink little HP notebook because I was introduced to technology through Android products and Windows products. So I eventually discovered Windows Movie Maker, and that's how this beauty was created. That's right, the first video ever uploaded on youtube.com/@g_spree was edited in Windows Movie Maker. And that was the only video edited in Windows Movie Maker. I'm very proud to say that. I didn't have to lapse and make more in there because I knew what editing was supposed to look like. I knew what editing was supposed to feel like, and I needed something more quote-unquote professional. I needed something that actually, worked. And to wrap this story up a little bit, because I'm supposed to be talking about Star Wars Battlefront, I eventually bought Adobe Premiere Elements in 2018, and that's how the rest of my videos from 2018 to the end of 2023 were edited. And then during the 12 days of Roguemas, I made the switch to DaVinci Resolve as my videos were getting a little bit more complex and needed just a little bit more power, and the software was just getting really old, decrepit, Adobe software. But if you went back and told that little Gavin that he would not upload a single Star Wars Battlefront video for another 7 years, his jaw would drop. But to be fair, I mostly played that game by myself and on a console in the middle of the living room, so I didn't really have great opportunities to, hook up the whole capture card and a microphone and my laptop without, having to answer some questions. So I fit most of what I could record onto what OBS on my HP notebook could handle until I saved up and bought a gaming laptop. Well, that's a hell of a way to start a Star Wars Battlefront video, isn't it? I love this game. I love this game. I fucking love this game. Oh my god. I'm so happy to be playing this again. You have no idea. Buckle up, because I got a lot of stuff I want to talk about. So what's the point of this video anyway? I've been brainstorming and, writing most of the script already without having a general, plan for what this is going to cover. Until now, I really just want to talk about how special this game is to me. Lay it all out there, say why I love this game, and really just try to talk to you. Get real deep about it, and go beyond just like a regular old overview video. I want to show off some great aspects of this game and really talk about what it means to me to have, been introduced to such a wonderful piece of media, even though most people would probably disagree with me. And especially despite all of the anger that came with playing an online game on EA servers in, a network area of like 333 kilobytes down, which would lead to a lot of problems. Anyway, I hope I can properly share my feelings with you and convey these thoughts properly, despite this likely being one of the last Star Wars games you would ever come to think of. And before anybody wants to talk to me about Battlefront 2 2017, I know it exists. I just didn't really get into it for personal reasons because I just didn't like how it felt playing the game. I had zero problems with the stupid transactional pieces. I think I played more of the beta for Battlefront 2 2017 before the game actually dropped than I did for the first like 2 years that I actually owned it, I guess. I'm not, at least that I can think of, talk about Battlefront 2 or relate them in any way, shape, or form, so I just want to get that out of the way. Anyway, we might as well get the multiplayer out of the way, huh? Let's talk about that first. It almost feels like a fever dream looking back at it because I know I clocked in and really played a bunch of this online, despite not having Xbox Live for the first like year that I owned the game. But we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to break down why single player was absolutely amazing. We're going to do that at a later date though. But first up on our stop, ladies and gentlemen, I want to direct your eyes to the star card inventory, this absolutely beautiful display of little bits and bobs that you come to find from the Star Wars universe. A plethora of bombs ranging from exploding bombs, gas bombs, healing bombs, one that's attached to a little homing shot that propels itself forward and explodes on an enemy, to a more refined, domesticated explosion strapped to the backpack in the form of a jump pack. And everything here you're going to recognize from specifically the Galactic era, because Star Wars Battlefront 2015 limited itself to just those movies, just those years. So we're only going to see weapons, heroes, villains, and maps and stuff like that in the Galactic era. Plus with the added bonus of one of the Season Pass DLCs being Scarif, which was really cool. So you'll recognize most of these star cards and weapons from those movies, with a couple of exceptions that you might have to really dig deep for. Like the back-to-bomb, which was later added as a star card with the DLC for Bespin, which I didn't even know they had healing grenades in Star Wars, but I guess it, you know, it makes sense in the terms of a multiplayer game. They also had to, of course, pad some stuff and put things like the bowcaster and the cycler rifle and then a homing shot on, you know, star cards, power-ups, you know, limited time, limited use type things. And on the topic of practicality in an online PvP game, you also need to have, you know, stuff like this ion grenade, ion torpedo, that will take out shields or, you know, specifically AT-STs or vehicles that will be riding around. And you obviously have to have the classic grenades, but these thermal detonators, like, what are we? We see them in one scene in one of the movies, and it's not even blowing up. I didn't even know what it was as a child, you know, watching the first movie for the first, or the second movie for the first time. Oh, the amount of thermal detonator kills I've gotten today. Also, do you remember of, like, any other moment in the Star Wars trilogy where they used a thermal detonator, other than the point when Princess Leia was disguised as a bounty hunter and held it up to Jabba the Hutt?
No.
Cause I don't remember, and it's like one of the first star cards you get. I just saw like a thing with a red dot on it that I was like, ooh, we're gonna do something. Ooh. It's like a negotiation piece. But playing Star Wars Battlefront, I recognize, oh, that's a bomb. It goes, it explodes, it kills people. But that's not the only super specific reference in the game.
I'm gonna be honest, being the hero's like absolutely sucks.
Oh, it's that one villain that was in like 2 seconds of one of the Star Wars movies.
You take Dengar's...
Yeah, Dengar. You know his name.
Yeah.
Isn't that just Gengar?
Logan.
Completely different world. Completely different world.
I don't want to be... Okay, there's like 2 heroes in this. There's like 7 million villains in this game.
I'm gonna play Chewbacca. Like Naya Nub too, he's my favorite hero to play and people don't even know who he is. He's Lando's co-pilot, in case you didn't know. He shows up, he's got maybe 5 minutes of screen time. We don't see him in the Han Solo standalone film. I don't think we see him when Lando makes an appearance in the 3rd trilogy. Where are we going? I'm following Chewbacca. Who are you, Naya Nub? He's got a teleporter, or he's got a, not a teleporter. He's got a pulse cannon, an infantry turret, and then I think like a rangefinder or something. Is that Bosk? Holy shit, it's Bosk!
Okay, no, Nine Nub is complete garbage.
I really like Naya Nub. You shut your mouth.
I just got like...
He is kind of ass. Also, I don't know who the hell picked Lando Calrissian. I think he's worse.
Okay, I like how we almost lost all our heroes and they still have everyone with like full health still.
Oh my god! I got chain lightninged. But for the roster of heroes, he's really the only kind of, hey, who the heck is this guy? Because, you know, we've got Han Solo, we've got Luke, we got Leia, we have, I don't know, whoever else is on the heroes list. Chewbacca's pretty cool. I was pretty hyped for the Chewbacca release. But on the side of villains, they really started to question it during the DLCs. You know, who do we put in these slots? You know, who do we put in the Outer Rim DLC? I don't know, throw in Greedo. What do we do for the Bespin DLC? Put out Dengar. What do we do for the Death Star DLC? Put out the Bosk, put out Lizard. I mean, these 3 of these folks kind of show up for a little bit. Greedo's got a little bit of a bigger scene, but then Bosk and Dengar were only in one movie for like literally 2 or 3 seconds, and all they did was stand there. I mean, I was waiting for IG-88 to be one of the enemies, and then they pulled out Orson Krennic, which is, you know, one of the main enemies in the 3rd trilogy, so that actually makes sense. I do think there are official Star Wars books that expand the lore of the universe, and Dengar might have like his own book, or at least a pretty big role in one of the books. I could be wrong. I have no clue. I don't read. I'm really sorry. I'm also just really indifferent towards the heroes and villains of this game because I don't like playing heroes or villains that often. I don't pick up the hero pickups for them in Supremacy or Walker Assault or anything, and I stay away from the heroes versus villains game modes to the point where there are basic achievements in the game that I just do not have because I just didn't play those modes. But I want to go back to talking about star cards. If you're here, if you give any craps about this game, if you know this game in any sort of realm, we don't have to go over all these star cards, but it wasn't always like this. We didn't always have perks. We didn't always have hut contracts. It used to be simple. You know, you load into a 40-player game or a 12-player game or a 20-player game, and you just do your little thing and you hop out. You get your XP, which turn into credits where you go buy more star cards and you go back on your way. The addition of hut contracts was honestly really cool. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of more work to grab something that I technically paid for, because if I want the back-to-bomb, for instance, in the Bespin DLC, I would not only have to have the Best Pin DLC, but I would also have to purchase the in-game HUD contract with in-game credits, and then complete like a list of challenges that would, I guess, redeem me or reward me with the Back to Bomb. And then if I wanted to upgrade this Back to Bomb, which upgrading all of these star cards just decreases their cooldown, I would have to do another set of quests or achievements regarding the Back to Bomb to actually, you know, get the upgrade. But it was a really cool way to keep players coming back, you know, trying to do something specific rather than just jumping into a game mode and doing the overall objective. But I will say there is something so whimsical about being so insignificant in such a large plane with such a large amount of stuff going on, overarching objective or 2 or 3, depending on what game mode you're playing. I just want to be in my own little world, just, you know, running around. Maybe I go to A, maybe I go to B, kind of depends on where I've spawned, what I'm feeling at the time. Maybe I'm just gonna run it straight up the middle. Maybe I'm gonna explore the vast area, because this game was built on the Frostbite engine, which, if you know anything about graphics on console, like freaking 10 years ago when this stuff was coming out, it's beautiful. This game looks amazing for its time. But Battlefield 6 released pretty recently, as I'm sure you're well aware, and I like to say that Battlefront is basically just Battlefield with a Star Wars skin on it, which is really strange because I never got into Battlefield. I was never interested in Call of Duty or any of the larger PvP games. I always just gravitated towards hero shooters after Star Wars Battlefront. There was no like direct pipeline from Battlefront into Battlefield or COD or Halo or any of the other things going on. I didn't know they were what they were. I didn't know they existed. I guess the concept of Battlefront outside of all of the Star Wars stuff going on just didn't really appeal to me. I just wanted to be in a Star Wars place, just doing Star Wars things, you know, shooting people and getting shot, I guess. I was so detached from mainstream game media, and this is how it's always been. And I like it that way. Ignorance is bliss, and boy am I stupid. Granted, I do like keeping up with things and knowing, you know, what new is coming out, what's going on in the scene with new games and stuff, which is why I kind of gravitate more towards indie games, because I like seeing new stuff be developed, and I also like following this overarching story. I like using that word overarching. It's a little overused, I will have to admit. But I like following a game from point A to a finished product. Anyway, Xbox tells me I've got just over 500 hours in this game, which is a really scary number to think about. But to be fair, I did play this for a while at some point during my developmental years when I had a lot of free time. But another number that confused me even more was the fact that my online play hours were around 100. I don't know how that's possible, because I know I clocked in some serious numbers on online. Don't know how it only concluded to 100. There's no way I spent 400 hours in the single player. I'm gonna gush about the single player, but I don't think it deserves that much gushing. 400 hours worth of single player content. I'm a little questionable, game, about the way that you measure the online times. I don't know where you're at with that one. Throughout my entire, 2 to 3 years of playing this game, I got to level 88, which I don't think you can do in just 100 hours, especially when you're looking at the kind of gameplay that I was committing. It was not good. I was, middle school, high school era. I was not good at video games. A stationary target, my weakness. Like, there's no way I got to level 88 in just 100 hours. That's unfathomable. Ow. There's somebody on... Oh, we won! We won! Let's go, team!
Yeah.
Yippee!
Ha, they're better than you.
Wait, really? Oh, damn.
Yeah.
You got 12 kills. Well, I'm not very good at this game, especially on muscular. There I am, MVP! What did I do? Hey, suck my balls, Wyatt! I never did get MVP very often, especially in the larger maps or modes, which brings me to another revelation of why I love this game so much. I think I just really love the Star Wars universe and wanted to engross myself and envelop myself in the Star Wars universe, really just take in all the sights, the sceneries, the smells, and do something half productive while I'm at it. It's not productive at all. I just ran around shooting people. Maybe I did some objectives. I have no clue. I was probably more of a detriment to my team than anything else. But how can I love this game so much when there are basic achievements that I am just straight up missing? Earn 10 kills as a hero in Hero Hunt. Didn't do it. Got up to 2. Win 1 match of each multiplayer game in the original game mode. I am at 9 out of 10. I have a good idea. It's either Hero Hunt, Droid Run, or Heroes vs. Villains, because I never played those 3 game modes. Droid Run because I just, I guess I would rather play Cargo, and then Hero and Hero Hunt, because I hated playing heroes. I never picked up heroes, so any achievement regarding a hero, probably don't have that one either. Also, there's an achievement for getting 10 kills in a single match of Fighter Squadron. I got 2. I'm at 20% progress on that. I don't even know how that's possible, because there's no way that not only did I not play Fighter Squadron, but my best performing Fighter Squadron match, I got 2 kills in, which sounds about on par, which is probably why I never played Fighter Squadron, excuse me, because I was so bad at it. I could go on and on for quad time for the amount of stuff that I have not done in that game, and not to mention the offline stuff where I never finished an offline mission on master difficulty ever. I bought Battlefront on PC a couple years ago though, so I can achieve some of these things that I was never able to as a child because I was too inept. Now I have a mouse and keyboard that I actually know how to use. So this is something I can still sort of chase, and I've been able to reignite my interest for this game because I was never able to complete stuff like this as a little inept child. Let's all point and laugh at little Gavin. Anyway, what's going on? Where were we at? God, this video is gonna be so long. You know what? I hate to do this. I've never done this before in my life, but I think I gotta make a part 2. Are we good for that? Because it's like 3 p.m. on Sunday right now. I'm not even done writing the script for this video, so I think we're gonna split it up. I'm just gonna keep this one to the multiplayer stuff. I'm gonna launch a video next week where I just talk about all the single player stuff, right? I hope we're down for that. I think that video is gonna be hopefully a little bit more interesting than this one. Doing my best, I promise.
Shelf space. VTuber.
But yeah, I think we just have to split this video in 2 because this is going to be, at this point, longer than my 9 Kings video, which I just don't have time for. It's been a week, okay, between my computer shitting itself and me working on my computer and me rebuilding my entire operating system. There's a lot going on. But I just want to do this game justice, and I know I'm not gonna. Just hard stop right there. Just hard stop. I'm not going to be satisfied either way, but I think I would be more satisfied if I make 2 videos on this game. We'll go on to it. We'll put this part behind us and I'll keep going. So anyways, part 2 of this video is going to come out next Monday. You should subscribe or something so you get notified when that video goes up so you can go over and comment first. Do people still do that? I don't think people still do that. I'm going to be honest. Anyway, I've got one more thing to talk about before I'm done with this video. One more thing that really made Star Wars Battlefront feel really special to me. And something I've only ever really felt with one other game. And that's being involved in a community and playing a game that constantly gets regular updates that are actually good. I've had parts of it here and there, which is one of the reasons I really have been liking indie developers following indie games and why these roguelike games have just been so awesome. We get to follow these great games from beta to beta to early access to full 1.0 release to the roadmap of what's to come. I was just playing Windblown yesterday because it got a fantastic update, and this is a game that has been in early access for over a year, and I was so excited for this game. I had such a blast playing this game before it even was released for early access. So you best believe I'm going to be releasing a video when this game fully drops on 1.0. I'm going to go crazy. But it's so cool to be a part of a community that gets constant updates for a finished game. This game was completely finished when it came out. They just had extra stuff that they wanted to add, and then extra stuff they wanted to add, and then here's some little quality of life stuffs. Here's some more stuff to add for offline play. It really felt like developers of this game cared about the game because they didn't introduce anything too overpowered. I mean, the back to bomb was really ballsy, but they did it, and it works. The back to bomb was released with the second DLC for Bespin, as in the second DLC was for Bespin. This was one of the star cards in that DLC. You throw it down, it heals everybody around you, including yourself, and if you are affected by the healing but you're already at full health, you get an extra 30 health. That is a huge game-changing thing. And I was there when they introduced rolling, which is a huge mechanic. That's like when Fortnite added sliding. And if I hadn't already said it, Battlefront had 4 DLCs that would come out over the course of like a year, because I believe the last one dropped December-ish 2016, right before Rogue One released, which was really cool to play a little bit before and, you know, get some insight onto what the movie's gonna be like. Which, come to think of it, is probably a reason Rogue One is one of my favorite movies, is because I was in that world before the movie was even out. I was playing Jyn Erso, I was on Scarif, I was trying to get the Stardust or whatever the little key is out of that tower. I was there before the movie was. I was shooting around Orson Krennic's DT-29 one-of-a-kind blaster pistol in Star Wars Battlefront 2015 before anybody even knew who Orson Krennic was. Apart from, I guess he was probably in trailers. But that one-of-a-kind blaster, only available through the Scarif DLC, is one-of-a-kind, as I've said like 4 times, because it is the one gun in the entire game that does not follow overheating. It is a basic-as human revolver that has X amount of shots. Once you shoot them, you reload. Don't know how the reloading thing works in Star Wars, but he did it. The Outer Rim DLC introduced Greedo and Nyanub, and then a brand new game mode called Sabotage. Bespin introduced Lando Calrissian and Dengar, and then I don't really remember what went on in the Bespin DLC. That was kind of a fever dream. The Death Star DLC, one of my favorite DLCs, came with Bosk, which was really cool. I had no clue who Bosk was, but he was a really cool lizard man, and you could turn on infrared sights and just make yourself just have a seizure if you wanted to. The hero on that DLC was also Chewbacca, and an EE4 was, I believe, released in that DLC, which is one of my favorite guns. And then the final DLC was the Rogue One Scarif DLC, where we could play out a crucial plot point in the actual movie as like a battle scenario. It was 3 points. You start in the sky, you infiltrate the little barrier around the planet, you get on ground, you shut down power or something, and then the final stage is you get in and like infiltrate and then get the card and shut down the whole planet or whatever, and then it all blows up and everybody blows up. But I believe that DLC was where the TL-50 was released, which is one of my favorite guns in the entire game, like top 3. In my opinion, these were absolutely fantastic DLCs, and the only problem I have with this game now is that it's, you know, because it's so old, there is no lobby searching. You just have to, you know, run through. Maybe there's somebody playing a 40-player game, maybe there's somebody playing a 12-player game, and then all of the DLCs have their own lobby systems. So if you just queue into a 12-player game, you do not get into any of the DLCs, which I believe all the DLCs are fully available, fully free for anybody that just owns the game now, because there are still people sporadically playing this game. I believe if you're interested, they have Discords both for PC and Xbox and maybe PlayStation. Sorry, Wyatt, we gotta go back to the Outer Rim.
Aww.
There's no other anything open
Hogan
lobbies.
the brother.
But yeah, that's what I think about the DLCs. I absolutely love them. It offered so much new stuff to the game, and since I bought the season pass like pretty much day one, I didn't really have to worry about, oh, I gotta purchase it, I gotta purchase the new game, or I gotta purchase a new DLC. The only thing I had to worry about was downloading it, because the Death Star DLC, when that came out, I had my Xbox powered on for a day and a half to download that update, and it was still not done. So if that DLC came out on Tuesday, I was like barely able to play it on the weekend. Now again, I'd love to shout out Star Wars HQ one more time, because every single update I saw, every single tad bit of information I learned was through them. Getting an outside perspective on these updates was really cool, as you can probably imagine if you ever watch a single patch notes update from any YouTuber ever. But they were also so positive and excited for new additions and stoked to see new mechanics and playstyles, and especially when stuff like the Back to Bomb showed up. The jump pack was, you know, notified as one of the biggest star cards in the entire game, and then especially when traits were added. Are you kidding me? When traits added, that stuff goes crazy. That's when you started to have optimal builds and stuff to actually try to get. Again, it was just so special because I only ever felt that way in a community, in a game, for Star Wars Battlefront, and then unfortunately Overwatch for the 3 years that we were on Overwatch. Alright gang, I think that's gonna have to do it for now. I've been standing here for over an hour and I'm not even done yet. So I hope you'll join me next week right here at 3 p.m. Central Time when I talk just about the single player aspects of this game, which is probably what I should have done this week because it's way more interesting. But as usual, I appreciate you stopping by. Have a wonderful rest of your day, night, week, weekend, and I will catch you the next time you catch me. Alright everybody, out of the way. Speeder bike coming in. Pardon me.
Completely misses.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Too far, too far!
Too far, too far. It do go down.
I was trying to run into Princess Leia or something. Oh shit. Oh, I got her.
It do go down.